Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV, and the Southwest TV Translator Association underwrites the news show.
If you have a news topic or tips you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show is live on Tuesday at noon and rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. and again re-aired on Friday at noon, 3 and 6.
Coming up, lethal lightning strike, paths to Mesa Verde, and more.
And also Mesa Bear, hot dog law, and weather, sheriff's roundup, and area happenings. Today is August 15th, 2017, and now the news at noon. Reported in the Cortez Journal, lightning killed a 24-year-old Colorado man as he mountain biked Sunday near Lizard Head Pass. The San Miguel County Sheriff's Office identified the man as John Daniel Huisgen of Durango. He was biking the East Fork Trail with his girlfriend who survived. An off-duty Telluride EMT who was biking with a friend in the area had taken shelter below tree line 100 yards away when Huisgen's girlfriend ran to them asking for help. The incident occurred just before noon. The EMT said he ran to the pulseless Huisgen, who started CPR and sent his friend to call 911 for a defibrillator. Other bystanders assisted with CPR. Deputies and Telluride rescuers hiked to him, but life-saving attempts were unsuccessful. San Miguel Sheriff Bill Masters said bystanders and responders did everything they could. The East Fork Trail takes off from Colorado Highway 145, about 17 miles south of Telluride.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, the Cortez City Council on last Tuesday, approved the final reading of an ordinance that will allow downtown businesses to apply for licenses to serve alcohol on city sidewalks and streets. The ordinance amends the city code's alcohol restrictions to allow restaurants and breweries in the central business district to serve alcohol on city-owned walks and streets, provided they first get the city's permission. It also makes it legal for customers of licensed businesses to drink alcohol in designated outdoor areas. During a public hearing on Tuesday, Dave, Lana, and Tiffany Waters spoke against the ordinance, saying outdoor consumption of alcohol would cause traffic problems and hurt nearby businesses. Although council members were divided on the issue, the ordinance passed by a 4-3 vote. Council members first turned their attention to amending the alcohol ordinance after hearing a presentation by Jeff Pope of KSJD Radio during their June 27th workshop. Pope plans to turn a few of the parking spaces near the Sunflower Theater on Market Street into a parklet where food and alcohol could be served before and after shows. Although some downtown businesses, such as Stonefish Sushi, are licensed to serve alcohol on its patio, the city code's current alcohol regulations don't allow it to be served in the street. Several council members proposed an ordinance to amend the regulations in order to accommodate the parklet. But although the Sunflower Parklet was the driving force behind the change, City Attorney Mike Green said other businesses have asked about serving alcohol on a sidewalk as well. Council members ultimately passed the ordinance by one vote. Chic Mayor Pro Tem Ty Keel, Tim Miller, and Bob Archibek voted for the ordinance, while Jill Carlson, Orly Lucero, and Shauna McLaughlin voted against it.
From the Cortez Journal. When monofilament fishing line is left along lakeside or in a river, it can be harmful to wildlife. In early August, Colorado Parks and Wildlife Officer Andrea Sponseller reported finding a dead osprey on the banks of Trout Creek in the Routt National Forest in northwest Colorado. The bird had become entangled in fishing line. Quote, "The line was wrapped around the osprey's feet and neck," Sponseller said. Anglers should never discard fishing line, hooks, or bait along a waterway. All of these can be harmful to wildlife. CPW said that it receives reports from people who have found birds ensnared by fishing line every year. "I've seen quite a few birds tangled and killed by fishing line in the last few years," she said. Anglers should just put unneeded line in their pocket or tackle box and then throw it away properly. Some anglers also clean their catch next to the water and then leave the guts on the bank. That can attract bears and other wildlife. Fish should be cleaned well away from a lake or river and the entrails disposed of in a dumpster or garbage can.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, the Environmental Protection Agency has completed an extensive asbestos cleanup at the Toyoak Recreation Center, but the center is still closed to public pending final repairs by the Ute Mountain Ute tribe. EPA officials said all toxic material was removed and placed in a certified landfill in Utah. EPA emergency cleanup crews finished the job on June 15th after final testing showed no asbestos risk to the public. The estimated cost of the cleanup was $600,000, which was covered by the EPA as part of a federal partnership to aid Native American tribes with large pollution cleanups. Before the center can reopen, ceiling tiles need to be replaced by the tribe and other repairs made, including to the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system, said Recreation Center Director Kia Whiteskunk. The plan is to have a grand reopening in September. The center closed in December for maintenance on a failed heating, ventilating, and air conditioning system caused by a power outage from lightning strike on a nearby transformer. During the repairs, it was discovered that dangerous amounts of asbestos from old attic insulation has been released into the building, causing a significant health hazard to the public. Asbestos is a health hazard when disturbed because airborne fibers can be inhaled and cause respiratory problems. Because of the magnitude of the contamination and expertise needed, Ute Mountain Tribe officials requested that the EPA conduct the cleanup operations. In April, a decontamination crew arrived and removed 370 cubic yards of vermiculite insulation and contaminated ceiling tiles throughout the 30,000 square foot building, which was built in 1964. Some areas within the building were sealed with foam to ensure their asbestos-containing material could not be inadvertently disturbed and released into the building. Asbestos contaminated dust and water that had fallen into the gymnasium, swimming pool, weight room, and offices were vacuumed up and all surfaces were cleaned.
According to the Cortez Journal, Montezuma County continues to work towards finding a route across private property for the proposed 17-mile path to Mesa Verde. The non-motorized trail would link Cortez with Mesa Verde National Park and Mancos. Natural Resources Director James Dietrich said the county has been systematically approaching private landowners about their willingness to have a trail easement across their property. Properties have been labeled green for supportive, yellow for maybe, and red for no access. Proposed routes on the Mancos side are increasingly coming up against red-labeled properties, he said. In those areas, the trail may have to be installed along the U.S. Highway 160 right-of-way instead of away from the highway that the public said they would prefer during community meetings. Barriers would separate traffic from hikers, bikers, and equestrians. From the Cortez side, county planners are negotiating with owners of a key 160-acre property to allow trail access from town to the county fairgrounds through the countryside. One option could be that the county purchases some land to allow for the trail to go through.
According to the Cortez Journal, like much of Montezuma County, Mesa Verde National Park has seen more than its share of encounters between bear and humans this summer, and its staff is recruiting volunteers to help. According to a news release Friday from Mesa Verde Public Information Officer Christy Brown, several members of the park's black bear population have been spotted rooting through dumpsters and unattended food near campsites and picnic tables. Like other recent bear sightings throughout the region, these are likely caused by a shortage of natural food sources due to a late frost, according to the release. To prevent conflicts between bears and humans, the park plans to start a volunteer bear safety education program in conjunction with the nonprofit Bear Smart Durango and other wildlife management agencies. Park officials and members of Bear Smart plan to begin volunteer outreach patrols at Moorfield Campground soon to educate campers on how to dispose of trash and store food so bears won't go after it. Brown said the staff will also consult other national parks with large ursine populations, such as Yellowstone, to learn from their bear management practices. Bear Smart sent out a newsletter on Thursday asking for more volunteers to help with the educational program in Mesa Verde. Those who sign up will be asked to talk to campers about bear safety during daily check-in and check-out times at Moorfield Campground and monitor campsites during the day for unsecured food and trash. The newsletter promised volunteers would be handsomely rewarded for their efforts with prizes including free entrance to the park, free camping, special tour vouchers, and ride-alongs with biologists. The nonprofit has organized bear safety education campaigns in the Durango area for about 14 years. La Plata County has also seen an unusually high number of bear-human conflicts this summer, including incidents where bears have broken into houses and cars, resulting in some of the animals being killed. Although there have been no reports of injuries resulting from bear activity in the park, Brown wrote in the news release that too much contact between bear and humans can be bad for both species. She warned park visitors to keep their distance from bears. And now, here's our weather report.
Northeast Utah and northwest Colorado will see increasing showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. Some storms will give heavy rain and small hail as possible, along with outflow winds gusting up to 50 miles per hour. For DCTV country, southeast Utah and southwest Colorado, the Four Corners area, we will see increased clouds but no moisture is expected. Southeast winds running at 10 to 15 miles per hour for the afternoon and 5 to 15 for the night. The good news is that today's clouds will keep things cooler this afternoon. Drier air behind the front passing through today and tomorrow is expected to have low precipitable values, so only isolated high showers over high terrain in the afternoons and little rain are expected. There is a strengthening trough over the west coast and some chance of monsoonal moisture late in the weekend, though, and expectations are good at this time. A front extending from the Great Lakes to the Central Plains is moving eastward off the northeast and northern mid-Atlantic coast by Wednesday. Showers and thunderstorms will develop along and ahead of the front, extending westward across the Ohio Valley and middle Mississippi Valley by this evening and involving all the Mississippi Valley by tomorrow evening. Overnight, the showers and thunderstorms will taper off along the boundary, redeveloping over the Ohio and Mississippi Valleys tomorrow. A part of these systems extending from the mid-Atlantic to parts of the middle Mississippi Valley will move off the mid-Atlantic coast overnight. Energy from that process will trigger showers and thunderstorms over parts of southern New England and the mid-Atlantic states that will also move off the mid-Atlantic coast overnight. Over the Gulf Coast states and southeast, daytime heating will produce showers and thunderstorms during late afternoon and evening hours today and tomorrow. Today, clouds will increase, then decline overnight with a high of 77 and a low of 51. The next 4 days will run in the lower 80s with nights in the lower to mid 50s. Sunny and dry with isolated dry storms in only the higher terrain late in the days will continue, along with ongoing 5 to 15 mile per hour winds through Thursday. And now back to the news.
According to the Cortez Journal, summer heat can be deadly for dogs, even when it's not that hot out. On a 85-degree day, the temperature inside a car can reach 120 degrees in just a half hour. A dog left inside can quickly experience heat stroke. What's more, cracking a window makes little to no difference, according to the American Veterinary Medical Association. A new state law that took effect Wednesday empowers anyone in Colorado to take action. It offers legal immunity to those who break into a car to save a child or pet in danger, so long as they follow steps laid out in the law. The procedure is designed to make breaking in a last resort. A would-be rescuer must have a reasonable belief a person or pet is in danger. They must try to contact the vehicle owner and authorities trained to deal with the problem. If no help arrives and the vehicle is locked, only then can someone bust a window without fear of legal consequences. Boulder Animal Control Supervisor Jenny Boswell worries people could misinterpret the law. Concern for an animal cannot justify a break-in. The actor here must be able to recognize and report signs of distress. A bystander that sees an animal in a vehicle won't necessarily recognize it's just panting, versus the animal is in distress and needs to be removed. She says people should learn the signs of heat stroke in dogs. Those include heavy panting, excessive drooling, glazed eyes, unsteadiness, vomiting, or a dark tongue.
Last week's CO2 report is in at 405.48, and week before last was 406.41. 1 year ago was 403.07, and 10 years ago was 382.38. In the incessant good news, bad news battle, often it seems as though the bad news takes most rounds by a large margin. However, our earthen environment is quite complex and is always attempting to establish equilibrium. This balancing of temperature, humidity, salinity, pressure, and innumerable other things is the life of Mother Nature and what she's all about. We often talk of decreasing size of glaciers in many places, mostly polar regions. A couple of weeks ago, while looking into monsoons in India and drought in other parts of that country, I read of some glaciers that were rapidly in decline and affecting certain areas of India farming due to loss of irrigation. I read of other areas north of India that were having flood issues, or in northern India and western India, due to monsoons and the top of glacier melt. Mother Nature once again taking all that increasing water in the oceans and trying to put it somewhere else. Some glaciers are in the Karakoram mountain range, think Himalayan, and the home of K2, the world's second largest peak. This roughly 1,200-mile long range in southern Asia has glaciers that are stable and growing, according to a study in which Haley Fowler, a co-author and professor at Newcastle University, participated. Fowler says glaciers in the Karakoram Range are in an area that's one of the most heavily glaciated areas of the world, outside of the poles, and the area boasts the world's second and third largest non-polar glaciers. The study says there is an anomalous cooling over the Karakoram Range called a vortex, unusual wind and humidity and pressure due to changes Mother Nature makes when she changes wind currents, because of sea currents, because of water temperatures, because of etc., etc., etc. All this is as drastic as the looks of those mountains. The issues are the food of for the world for one of the most populous countries on earth. All that water in all the wrong, or at least new places, or merely different places, and no systems in the right places to make use of it. Dams, hydroelectric facilities, irrigation systems, and etc. The places are changing. The faces and places will continue to change. Do we cry and die, or react? And ourselves do some changing and building, or say, let them fend for themselves? What about when our turn comes?
Reported by the Cortez Journal, the town of Silverton will be the primary location for filming a new movie about the true story of Hunter S. Thompson's curious, bizarre, and entertaining run to be sheriff of Pitkin County in the 1970s. Stephanie Burdett, office manager for Region 9 Economic Development of Southwest Colorado, confirmed that Freak Power would start filming in Silverton this fall. In December, it was announced that director Bobby Kennedy III received a $300,000 rebate from Colorado's Economic Development Commission to shoot his new feature on Thompson. The Denver Post reported the budget for Freak Power would be $1.85 million, bringing a cast of 100 and a crew of 73. It's Kennedy's intention to distribute the film in a digital format such as Netflix. But at the time, it was reported that Freak Power would be shot mostly around Aspen, the Pitkin County seat. A few locations, however, would have to be filmed elsewhere because the town has changed so much since the 1970s. Donald Zuckerman, commissioner for the Colorado Office of Film, Television, and Media, said producers were looking at nearly 24 Colorado towns to use as stand-ins. Most prominent was a location needed for Hotel Jeremy, which was a dive bar in the 1970s, but no longer resembles its former self after undergoing several renovations over the years. Burdett said she suggested 5 locations in southwest Colorado: the Diamond Bell Saloon, the General Palmer Hotel, and the Strader Hotel in Durango, the Grand Silverton, the Grand Imperial Hotel in Silverton, and the New Sheridan Hotel in Telluride. But it turns out that the filmmakers decided to film primarily in Silverton. A few other scenes may require travel outside this small mountain town, about an hour drive north of Durango. A representative with Freak Power was not available for comment last Wednesday. San Juan County Sheriff Bruce Conrad, who serves as Silverton's film liaison, said the movie is set for 4 to 6 weeks of advanced prep and then 3 6-day weeks of filming this fall.
From the Cortez Journal, Mesa Verde National Park will offer free admittance on Friday, August 25th, in celebration of the 101st birthday of the National Park Service, according to a news release from the park. The park also plans to waive admission fees on Saturday, September 30th for Public Lands Day. September 30th also celebrates the second annual Bike Your Park Day. National Public Lands Day is the nation's largest single-day volunteer effort for public lands. 7 federal agencies, as well as nonprofit organizations and state, regional, and local governments participate in the annual day of improving the health of public lands and encouraging shared stewardship through volunteer service. Other federal agencies waiving fees on September 30th include the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, the Bureau of Land Management, the Bureau of Reclamation, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and the U.S. Forest Service. Weatherill Mesa offers bicycling on the 5-mile-long House Loop paved trail, but because of safety concerns does not allow bicycling on the road to Weatherill Mesa. Regulations are posted on nps.gov online, and the final fee-free days for 2017 are November 11th through 12th in commemoration of Veterans Day weekend. The park recommends discovering the self-guided aspects of Mesa Verde, including the driving loops, hiking trails, and the far view sites. For more information about Mesa Verde, visit nps.gov/MEVE.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of August 7th through the 13th. A resident reported theft of hay from a barn. The case is under investigation. A report was received from a concerned individual about their father. The individual was redirected to the county in which her father lived to make a report. A county resident called to report individuals shooting out of a vehicle on a county road. Subjects were no longer in the area when officers arrived. In the early morning hours, a county resident reported high-powered gunshots going off. A deputy followed up and documented the incident for added patrol. A county resident requested an emergency 811 locate. Dispatch was notified. A town resident reported an adult with teenage juveniles repeatedly trespassing on their property. An officer is investigating. A county resident reported an elk that appeared injured in a nearby field. An officer responded and found the animal to be uninjured. A town resident reported an unattended burn at a nearby residence that was causing concern, as well as a lot of smoke. The resident burning was not at home, and family members contacted were willing to put out the fire. That's it for today's roundup. Stay tuned for continuing updates.
Today's High Canyon Country happenings. The Mancos Valley Historical Society will sponsor antique appraisals at the Mancos Community Center on Sunday, August 20th. According to a news release from the Historical Society, 6 professional appraisers will be available from noon to 4 p.m. to determine the value of all kinds of antiques, including furniture, jewelry, and dishes. The appraisers will also include an expert in Native American items. Appraisals will be based on current market values and are the opinions of the local appraisers, the release said. There will be a $10 fee for each item appraised. Proceeds will go to the Historical Society's fund for a potential future museum. The event will be free for spectators. The Mancos Community Center is at 130 West Grand Avenue. For more information about the antique event, contact Kelly Kilgore at 970-533-9138. And what happens in the garden stays in the garden, unless, of course, you may have the biggest zucchini or weirdest shape. Then bring it down to the Dolores County Fairgrounds this Saturday, August 19th, to see if you could be a winner. It's a free event to attend. Gate opens at 11 a.m. with the savory or sweet zucchini dish food competition. Registration by 12 noon. Along with the biggest zucchini launching starts at 11:30 with youth entries. Adult launch opens at 12 noon and goes to 2 p.m. Individual or team entries are $5 for adults, $3 for youth. Cash and prize awards are announced at 3 p.m. There are food vendors and free live music from Wake Up Laughing from 1 to 4 p.m. Help make the Three Sisters Ag Fest and Zucchini launch, the first year event, a tremendous success. This is presented by the Dove Creek Chamber of Commerce. Thanks to sponsors Dove Creek Sinclair, Wild Coffee, The Rock, DC Press Inc., and all those helping out. And if you missed any of these happenings, they're posted up on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather, and original stories and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us. It's dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station at 677-411-9 and we'll be sure to get your news on air.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs live at noon Monday through Wednesday and then rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. and again re-aired Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the same order at noon, 3, and 6.
Be sure to check out the Facebook page. It's DCTV News at Noon. Please like us there and share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook, Jerry Tope, and everyone at DCTV with the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.